edition, the Attorney General gives an update on the Shantytown saga. We hear more from the Minister of Immigration on the backlog of applications. And Siesker Adderley cruises the high seas. It's the middle of the week. Good Wednesday morning to all of you. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Vaughn Albury is standing by with Sergeant Jerome Thompson of the Traffic Division on Blue Hill Road to discuss pedestrian crossings and the speed limit. Good morning, Vaughn.
Good morning, LaDawn. Good morning, everyone. We are indeed here on busy Blue Hill Road. The traffic has already started. But along this road, there are a number of schools, including the S.C. McPherson School, A.F. Adderley, C.R. Walker, and we are outside the Yellow Elder Primary School. Traffic, as I said, has already started, and it's quite a busy day, Sergeant Jerome Thompson.
Yes, it is. We are at the peak of the traffic hour as we speak. We expect a more heavier volume of traffic in the next few minutes.
Now, from what I observe, first of all, tell us, what is the speed limit here?
The speed limit on this road regularly is 25 miles per hour. During the school hours, Monday to Friday, from 7 a.m. to about 9 a.m., the speed limit is 15 miles per hour. And then again at 2:45 p.m. to 4 p.m., same speed, 15 miles per hour.
Well, you said what the speed limit is, but from what you and I observe, I can see that quite a number of motorists here are exceeding the speed limit. Do you concur?
I concur. I agree with you, and there's need for our presence here with respect to law enforcement. And as you can see in the background, Inspector Jennings, he has the speed gun. And we're going to be reporting to quite a number of persons in the school zone and then various school zones throughout the island.
Now, when it comes to school zones, tell us what should motorists be doing when they approach a school zone, and if school children and others are preparing to cross the pedestrian.
Well, when you are approaching the school zone, you are to drive within the speed limit, which is 15 miles per hour. You have to look out for pedestrians, and where the pedestrian crossing is clearly marked, you need to slow down. Once you see pedestrians trying to make their way across the street, you need to come to a complete stop and allow the pedestrian to make their way safely across the street.
Now, Sergeant Thompson, the pedestrians themselves have a role to play. What is their job when they are attempting to cross?
They got to step up to the pedestrian crossing, make eye contact with the drivers, make sure that they come to a complete stop before making their way safely across the street.
Well, there you heard it from Sergeant Jerome Thompson of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. There is a message for both motorists and pedestrians, particularly when you're trying to cross the street. Pedestrians, you ought to make sure and make eye contact with the drivers. Well, that's good news. Thank you so much, Sergeant Jerome Thompson.
You're welcome.
And it's back to you in the studio, LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Vaughn, and joining us live in studio here on the Morning Edition to tell us how our morning is shaping up weather-wise is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good morning, Basil.
Good morning, LaDawn. We have that tropical wave now near Puerto Rico. It's moving westward, and the showers and thunderstorms associated with it are expected to spread into the southeast Bahamas later this morning and this afternoon. Also, we have a cold front, which is now approaching northern Florida. That will move into the northwest Bahamas Thursday morning and will affect us here in the capital sometime on Thursday afternoon, with cooler temperatures heading into the weekend. But outside of our studios, we have partly cloudy skies, temperature 79 degrees, a relative humidity at 88%, southeast winds at 5 miles per hour, your barometric pressure 1,018.0 millibars, that is 30.06 inches, and it is steady. Temperatures around the islands this morning, we're picking up some 77s in Marsh, Ababaco, Green Toll Key, also Freeport at 77, in the Berry Islands 80 degrees, 80 also in Allenstown, Bimini, Harbor Island 80, Roxanne, Eleuthera, and Otterstown, Kent Island 80 degrees. 79 in Staniel Key, also Kemps Bay, South Andrews at 79, Fresh Creek, Central Andrews at 80 degrees. In San Salvador and Arum Key, 80 degrees there as well. More 80s in Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Maguana, Acklands, Ragged Island, Matitown, Inagua, and the Turks and Caicos Islands. Your boating forecast for today in the northwestern islands. Winds will blow from the southeast around 10 to 15 knots. Very good sea conditions at 2 to 4 feet. Low tide 6:02 in the morning. High tide at 12:23 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands today, easterly flow at 15 to 20 knots. Wave heights 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. So small craft, we actually need to exercise caution in the central and southeastern Bahamas. And that's going to do it for your first look at weather, the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today and tonight is still ahead.
Thanks a lot, Basil. The legal team involved in the Shantytown case taking steps to move the matter forward. The case is now before the courts after some 100 Shantytown residents initiated legal proceedings. This after the government gave a deadline for Shantytown residents to be evicted from those communities. Attorney General Senator the Honorable Carl Bethel provided this update on the case.
At the present time, we're seeking to have an amendment to the injunction to prevent any unlicensed building or additions to any structures in any of the shanty towns. There was some discussion with counsel on the other side towards an agreed position. We have not arrived at a point of any agreement.
The Attorney General said he will be meeting with all attorneys involved in the matter sometime today.
We are intent on two things. One is, as I said, the amendment, getting the amendment of the injunction to prevent any new construction or additions to any buildings in the shanty towns. And the second is to arrange for an early date for the trial of this matter. So we are looking to get a status hearing and also a hearing on the injunction.
Immigration officials taking steps to address the backlog of applications said to be in the thousands. Minister the Honorable Brent Simonet said a new system has been implemented at the department in order to speed up the process and ensure that the system is more transparent.
We went from the old computer system into the new computer system. We're migrating files. We've gone paperless, anyone that's been up to immigration since the 9th of September. So when you file for a work permit or any application now, you get your documents back. So we scan them right there in the customer service area, and so there's no more holding on to your original birth certificate, all the things that you hear people say we lose. They scan it right there, and they give you an acceptance slip. If you do not produce the documents that you're supposed to produce, we do not accept your application.
Simonet said additional workers have also been hired to address data entry challenges at the Department of Immigration.
Cabinet approval to hire 20 individuals who will do nothing else but data programming. In other words, a post office box is missing, or a telephone, or something which stops the card being produced. So we have, I think on Monday, about 5 or 6 people will start out of the 20. They'll only do data entry, and we hope the backlog on the data problem area, that 4,000, will be cleared up. We're aiming for 31st of December.
New details on the crash of that Piper Aztec that went down in waters of Nirvana Beach last Thursday. Air traffic officials have now confirmed that there was a flight plan filed by pilot Byron Ferguson. It was also noted that Ferguson was the only occupant on that flight. Meantime, investigations continue into the hopes of locating the pilot and the aircraft. The world's largest cruise ship heading our way is 1,000 feet long, over 200 feet wide, and cruises at a speed of 22 knots. And those are just some attributes of the Symphony of the Seas. Sieska Adderley is on board.
Symphony of the Seas left the port of Miami Tuesday on its inaugural voyage bound for Nassau. It's the newest addition to Royal Caribbean International's fleet. But Vice President of Hotel Operations Irene Schneider assured us that those cruising on the Symphony of the Seas will have an experience like no other.
Well, we are on a ship here which is the most innovative cruise ship in the world. It's the most spacious cruise ship in the world. Right now here we are in the boardwalk. There is no other ship in the world which can provide you a space like this. We have cabins to the left and to right. We have an aqua theater behind me where we have performers jumping from 17-meter high, conducting 17-meter high dives. We have aerial acrobats, which you really only find in Las Vegas. And this kind of spaces is only on the Symphony of the Seas.
And the cruise liner is no stranger to the Bahamas, sailing to the destination for the past 50 years. And it's a relationship that's proving to be harmonious.
We're very excited to have the ship going to Nassau and other Bahamian destinations. We bringing people into a Caribbean region. They get to know destinations. They get to experience your wonderful beaches, the culture, the history, and I'm sure many of them consider an independent destination.
Well, the festivities are just getting started here on board the Symphony of the Seas. As a matter of fact, we're expected to cruise into the port of Nassau in just a few minutes, and the official ceremony where they're going to get a real big Bahamian welcome is set to begin at 1 o'clock, and then they head back on the seas to Miami on board the Symphony of the Seas. C.S. Scotterly for ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Sieska. And still to come, we will take you live to Vaughan Albury on Blue Hill Road, where an icon will be remembered. That story and more when the Morning Edition comes right back.
We live in a hurricane zone, so safety, security, and protection of our homes and businesses is very important. That's why We Buy, You Sell, the Hurricane Impact Window and Door Specialists, offers 100% fully laminated hurricane impact windows and doors designed to withstand all category storms. Our prices are 30 to 50% lower than our competitors. We also sell porcelain, mosaic, and plank tiles. Visit our showroom and let our trained, certified staff cater to your needs. We Buy, You Sell, located number 163 Robinson Road in the old Hasties building. Call 324-6427 or 698-1141. Don't get blown away this hurricane season. Visit us today.
If you own a portfolio of securities within a brokerage account, like stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, you can access a hassle-free loan, known as a margin loan, based on the value of that portfolio. Your investment portfolio is essentially used as collateral for a cash loan. And the benefits are numerous. Simple and straightforward application, quick turnaround, a more competitive interest rate, no requirement for monthly payments. Contact us for more information on margin loans.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources presents the 2018 Best of the Best Regatta. December 6th through 9th, witness the best in Bahamian sloop sailing as we invade the Montague foreshore with pure sailing gold. Come and see which boats will reign supreme. And when the sun goes down, the best in Bahamian entertainment will light up the stage. It's the Best of the Best Regatta, December 6th through 9th at the Montague foreshore.
Welcome to the Best of Sports World.
Welcome back to the Morning Edition. Vaughan Albury is standing by at the Edmund Moxie Park with relatives of the late Edmund Moxie to talk about the renaming of the park and activities planned for the week. Good morning again, Vaughan.
Good morning, LaDawn, and we're back here live. This time we're at a different location, still just off Blue Hill Road. We're on the Big Pond Park, but there's something big about to happen here. And with me is the Member of Parliament for St. Barnabas, Shalindor Cartwright. What's about to happen here?
Well, for decades, Bahamians from all walks of life have been talking about the need to honor Edmund Spencer Moxie, a culturalist, an icon of the highest order, a real Bahamian patriot. And one of the things we decided the Edmund Moxie Cultural Week Committee is that it would be fitting to rename this Big Pond Park in honor of the late Edmund Spencer Moxie. So tomorrow at 6 p.m., the Prime Minister with senior government officials will be coming to this park to officially rename this park, the Edmund Spencer Moxie Park, commission the soon-to-be Edmund Spencer Moxie Youth and Community Center, and unveil the sculpture, which is going to be right in the front of the park. So we are very excited about this, not only for the Moxie family, but for the people of Coconut Grove and the Bahamian people at large who've been asking for this because they know of the importance of the legacy of Edmund Moxie.
That's what I wanted to ask you. What does it mean to the people of Coconut Grove, which has now been renamed St. Barnabas? What does Edmund Moxie mean to them when you go around and speak to your constituents?
Well, I can tell you, during the 2017 campaign, so many persons, I would say 90 to 100% of houses we would go to, persons would invoke the name and the legacy of Edmund Moxie, regardless of political affiliation. And so it shows you that Edmund Moxie transcends politics. He meant so much to the people of Coconut Grove, but more than him, it was the many things that he put his hand in that aided in the development of the people of Coconut Grove and gave them a sense of hope. And that's what we're hoping that this Coconut Grove Festival revival of that festival allows us to do.
Quickly just go through the list of events still on schedule, because you started on Sunday, but it continues through the weekend. What's on tap?
Okay. Well, tonight just across the street at the Cynthia Mother Pratt Park, we will be having a screening of a documentary, The Price of Being a Man, and the undoing of Jumbe Village. That's going to be on the park at 7 p.m. Okay. Tomorrow will be the official renaming of the park, and like I had mentioned, the ceremony to take in the community center, commission the community center, as well as unveil the sculpture. And of course, the revival of the Coconut Grove Festival, Friday at 6 p.m. and Saturday at 3. So we're asking all of the Bahamas and tourists alike to come out. This is a real Bahamian festival to celebrate us, to celebrate Edmund Moxie.
And you're talking about celebrating the family of Edmund Moxie. With me is Mr. Moxie's youngest daughter, Marva. Marva, this must be a proud moment.
It is indeed. You know, Vaughn, my father worked very hard. He believed in representing the people. He was first elected in 1967, and he fought for the principles and ideals for which he was elected. He was very proud to be the Member of Parliament for the Coconut Grove constituency. And it's interesting because when you introduced the now Member of Parliament for St. Barnabas constituency, it brought to mind the reason the constituency was changed. The boundaries were changed in an attempt to ensure that he would not be re-elected and the Coconut Grove constituency would be no more because he had made such an impact on the people.
Your family has had it rough for a long time because of his rejection by those that were in power at that time.
Yes, Vaughn, and even today, you know, once something is done, the stain is with you and it tends to continue for a long time. And so even today, we're suffering as a family.
What does this mean to your mother in particular?
My mother, who was a part of the struggle with my father from the very beginning. In fact, when they learned that Jumbe Village was going to be destroyed, they came out that morning and sat on a rock. There's a photo of them sitting on a rock outside, begging the government at the time to please do not destroy the nation's cultural heritage. And we learned afterwards that after destroying Jumbe Village, they couldn't get rid of the theater, and so they actually had to use explosives to get rid of the theater. Can you imagine how traumatized my father was to learn that they had used explosives to destroy the nation's cultural heritage?
Fast forward to 2018. Just being honored, being recognized, what does this mean?
This is a real moment for us. We're excited about it, I remember on March 27th, my father and I, 2012, we were in the House of Assembly because he had presented his DVD to the Speaker and members of the House of Assembly, and we went back that afternoon for the afternoon session. And as the House was suspended, the former Prime Minister, Hubert Ingram, passed by us and he said, well, Moxie, it looks like we're not going to get to the Big Pond Development Project. And we later learned that this is what he was talking about. Of course, the Free National Movement lost the government in 2012, and I believe the project just sat there until the now Member of Parliament took up the mantle and ensured that the park is being opened today and named after Edmund Spencer Moxie.
Well, Edmund Spencer Moxie, indeed. Tomorrow night, right here on this park, just south of National Insurance Board, there will be the renaming of this park. It's now the Big Pond Park, but it will be renamed the Edmund Spencer Moxie Park. And indeed, the Coconut Grove Festival has been revived, and that's this weekend. So please come out and support the family and support ourselves, because this is who we are, Bahamians. And proud as Edmund Moxie was, he always told us to be proud of who we are. Back to you in the studio, LaDon.
There, Vaughn. Today is World Diabetes Day, and a man in his late 40s is sharing his story about the impact the disease has had on his life and mobility. He's also using the month of November, Diabetes Awareness Month, to encourage Bahamians, no matter the age or gender, to get regular checkups and treatments early.
My mother had it, her sister had it, my grandparents had it, so I basically had it all around.
Public Relations Officer for the Bahamas Diabetic Association, 47-year-old Mario Smith, was almost destined to get a touch of diabetes. The disease, hereditary in his case, affected him in a way where lifetime changes were imminent. The type 2 strain of the disease got so aggressive for Mario that he had to face the harsh reality of having one of his legs amputated and replaced with a prosthetic leg that cost him $10,000. He says a new leg not only allowed him to be more mobile, but gave him a new lease on life.
After about 8 to 9 weeks of treatment, then my health started to decline, and I realized something was wrong. So I went and I sought further advice, and only to find out that it was already at a stage where they couldn't control it anymore. Well, actually, I started out with a foot ulcer on the toe. I lost the toe first, and in having management at PMH, and I was under the impression that it was getting better, and it just was declining. And in fact, Christmas Day of 2017, I was in theater having the leg taken off.
Mario says bad eating habits played a crucial role in the ultimate amputation of his leg, which was carried out some 2 years ago. He says although the disease is under control, getting the necessary medical treatments is quite costly.
You look at medication alone being near to $200 to $300 a month, and of course, with the recent VAT increases, etc., the healthier foods are more expensive than eating poorly. So, sometimes you settle for what you can afford.
And while losing a leg was quite painful for Mario, he says sharing his story with others fighting the same battle at the Bahamas Diabetic Association's weekly sessions helped him to heal.
When I go for therapy, and there's quite a large number of persons there, and they all have stories, and we sit down and we share stories, we laugh about it, we talk about it. But they've become a support system for me, so I look forward to seeing them when I go on a weekly basis.
Well, it seems Charles Fisher has forsaken me this morning and is having a great time over there at Jumbe Village and is live on location up next in sports.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Wednesday. I'm Charles Fisher. We're right here at the park, and I'm now joined by Mark Hanna and his player. They have a big tournament coming up later on this afternoon. Mark, telling us about it?
Well, this year, first of all, good morning, Bahamas. This year is our third annual Royals Thanksgiving Basketball Classic, and it's very, very exciting this year. So we hope that the fans will come out and support it and support these kids as they play the game of basketball. We have.
It tips off this afternoon at the Donald Davis Gym.
Yes, all the games will be at our school, DW Davis Gym, and it starts at 3:30, 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay, name some of the divisions.
Well, we have two divisions. The junior boys divisions, it is from junior school from grade 7 to grade 9, 15 years of age and under. And the intermediate division, this is the senior boys, 16 years of age and under.
How do you see the competition going this year?
Well, the game of basketball is improving because of the internet and the availability to go to coaching clinics and to be certified. So these coaches now are coaching and they're competing because they want to win. So we have from the private sector, we have SAC, SACO is bringing it, the big red machines. We have QC, Queen's College at Commons, and then we have from the small schools we have Telehos, and then we have Temple Christian, and then also from the GSSA we have the intermediate boys. We have C.I. Gibson, a powerhouse. We have Anatole Rogers, and we have R&B's coming in for the first time. From the junior section, we have C.H. Reeves. We have Anatole Rogers. Many schools are coming in, and they're going to be ready. They've been preparing, and now they're going to play ball this afternoon. So hopefully, to support the bidding from the public.
Well, you guys have dominated this tournament over the past few years. One of its star players. First of all, give us your name.
Philip Dawkins.
Well, Philip, how your team being prepared for this tournament?
We were prepared because we work hard. You work hard out all summer. You're ready for the game of the basketball this afternoon, and you're ready to go.
All right, Mark, what do you think about that? How's the team looking?
Well, pretty good, We never took a break. We've been from the summer working out, as Philip said, and preparing and have our system down pack, and we're ready to go. We are two-time defending champions. We would like to win it every year, but if we don't win this year, then hey, it's good to spread it around, but our plan is to win it every year.
I may be a bit too old to get in this tournament this year, but once I was in high school, I scored about 50 points a game, 36 rebounds, 6 block shots. The only time I didn't score was when the coach had me on the bench wrestling, and that was really because he wanted the star player to always be in the game. And Mark?
Like when you're on the island and you're trying to duck the mosquitoes? Yeah. Pretty much.
This is our big adventure. See it on Ordinary People. Right here on TV 13. Yes!
Was the talk of the town, but get ready for more.
More energy, more excitement, exhilarating, compelling, informative, educational talk on The Conversation.
I'm Shanique Miller. Pull up a chair with a cup of tea and join me weekdays at 4 on Radio Bahamas, 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, and The Light, 810 AM for The Conversation. I'm excited to have you around the table.
In our final look at weather, we have that tropical wave now approaching Puerto Rico. The leading edge of those showers now working its way toward the southeast bombers, and those showers will move in later on this morning and during the afternoon hours. Meanwhile, we have this frontal boundary, which is across the Gulf of Mexico. It's advancing towards the east. We expect it into the northwest bombers on Thursday morning. By Thursday afternoon, we'll be pushing through the capital, and we should see a nice cool down heading into the weekend. Our forecasts are for today, periods of clouds and sunshine with a shower or two in place. The high temperature today should get up to about 86 degrees. And tonight, looking at partly cloudy with a passing shower in the forecast, 73 degrees for your low temperature. The extended weather forecast taking us through the weekend and into the next week. We have mostly sunny skies tomorrow, but in the afternoon, those showers will work their way in as that front passes through. Showers lingering into Friday, drying out on Saturday, and heading into the early part of next week with lots of sunshine and cooler temperatures. So on.
Thanks a lot, Basil, and that does it for the morning edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Once again, I'm LaDawn Davis. Join us this evening for our 2-hour newscast starting at 6 p.m. See you guys in the morning.